started. So welcome everyone to our Innovation Summit. It is our first annual Canadian Virtual Innovation Summit hosted by the Artemis Project. I'm Erica, and on behalf of the whole team, as well as all of our speakers, I would like to welcome you. Before we get too much further ahead, we've got tons of great speakers and tons of content to share today. I'm going to turn it over to our Artemis member, Kari Lentowicz, who's going to lead us in our land acknowledgement and reconciliation moment. Over to you, Kari.
Let me just get my screen up here. Okay.
Looks perfect, Kari.
Okay, I was muted for some reason. Sorry. Okay, I figured that out when you spoke up, Heather. Thank you. Okay,
No problem.
I'd like to acknowledge that I am currently on the traditional and ancestral territory of the Rocky and Woodland Cree and the homeland of Peter Ballantine Cree Nation, of which I am a proud member. My name is Kari Lentowicz, and I am Cree First Nations woman living on Treaty 10 territory in northeastern Saskatchewan, of which I like to call Treaty 6 because Peter Ballantine did sign Treaty 6 territory. I am also going to just turn on my video. How about that? There we go. Within Turtle Island, the Indigenous people that did and still do reside here were the caretakers of the land and the waters. Despite millions of Indigenous people on Turtle Island, this land was declared empty, even though the presence of Indigenous peoples was well known. At one point, they thought there was probably up to 18 million people, Indigenous people living here. Over time, the rights of Indigenous people were stripped away. My ancestors, my cookum, my aunties, my uncles were denied their culture, and some were even denied a relationship with their parents when they were taken away from home. Centuries of laws and policies were implemented in order to suppress the protectors of the land. Many fail to recognize that mining only exists in Canada because of these laws and policies. Yes, Canada has shady history, of which I'm sure we're all aware. So does mining. Mining has that shady history as well. However, as First Nations woman who has worked in the mining industry for over 20 years, I know we are doing better, and we seek to do more, to become more, and become stewards of the land and the bounty it has to offer. Acknowledging the land we are on in a meaningful way is an opportunity for me to share the connection between what we are here to discuss and the people who have sacrificed their culture, their family, their lifestyle, and their knowledge as Canada tried to claim land that was not theirs, to claim and suppress or eliminate those that had a right to it. But as we all know, we are still here. And though many are still struggling, we will not be going anywhere but forward. And many of us want nothing more than to move forward in prosperity with the riches the land has to offer while ensuring sustainability, zero harm, and most of all, respect for the waters and land that could rightfully prosper without us. Mining is a big part of this path. I would like you all to commit. I'm just trying to forward this slide here. I would like you all to commit to identifying whose traditional and ancestral lands you are on, and to learn about the challenges that still exist in those areas and the successes that have been achieved. Take the time to listen, and most importantly, to understand why disparities exist and how you can help close the gap in your role as a company, an employee, and especially as an individual. Oh, where is it here? I've got two screens going here, so it's kind of hard to flip back and forth. I also urge you all to read the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action. Use the knowledge within to educate others and to help build relationships with Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island. As an Indigenous person growing up, I was oppressed too by the stereotypes and the loss of identity because I believed the stereotypes to be true. I now have knowledge and a voice, and boy, am I using it. I ask that you do not perpetuate the stereotypes perpetuate the knowledge to heal, to move forward, and to increase the diversity, equity, and inclusion of this land's Indigenous peoples in the mining industry and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Kari, so much for leading us in that really meaningful and powerful opening. We appreciate you sharing your story and defining a really clear call to action for all of us, not only within the mining industry, but also all of us that are descended from settlers. I appreciate that you're acknowledging the process and the progress and the healing that's already happened, in addition to being very real about the fact that there is more to do on reconciliation and true partnership with Indigenous people in the mining industry. So it's fundamental for all mining companies and all of us as individuals to get this right. So if you would like to do your own land acknowledgement in the chat, you're more than welcome to do so. And we're going to switch gears a little bit, but stay with Kari here. She is one of our Artemis members and one of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's 94 calls to action is to support Indigenous-owned businesses. And since today's event is being hosted by a collective of entrepreneurs that are serving the mining industry, that's the Artemis Project, we're going to spend a bit of time with Kari now to learn more about what she does. So Kari, you're the co-founder and managing director of Diamonds in the Rough. What a wonderful name, so evocative there. And that's a nonprofit organization that you started as part of your own personal mission and lived experience as an Indigenous woman in mining. Could you tell us a little more about Diamonds in the Rough?
Absolutely. We are a nonprofit organization. Myself and my two co-founders thought about it back in 2007 and finally gave birth to the idea back in 2018. We train women in mining, and then we put these all-female teams from across Canada through competitions. These women have never met before. They've never worked together. And they meet for the first time during the training. And for the last few times, we've had 4 days to compete. And we've competed in one national competition in 2019 and 2 international competitions, one in Russia in 2018, which was our first. And wow, that was exciting. And then last year in West Virginia. We know that our program builds not only the mine rescue skills of the women that are participating, but also their confidence and their leadership abilities as well.
That's amazing. I just love the image there. It's so powerful to see those women standing and being part of that mine rescue experience. And I do understand that you yourself have received some recognition on a really big stage recently, as you just gave a presentation at the World Mine Rescue Championships in South Africa this year. So congratulations on that. And
thank you.
You know, the fact you started so recently and you're already putting teams together and competing on the world stage in these mine rescue competitions, just being there has got to be a huge win. And I'm sure our audience is interested in knowing how you placed in those competitions. Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, we placed quite well. In 2018, we out of 25 teams, we actually placed 15th overall. That was in Russia. We also got a couple awards. People's Choice Special Award for making a difference in mine rescue. We came 5th in underground, which was pretty exciting. 2019, we finished 6th overall, 2nd in first aid. I still have a few buddies here who are a little bit bitter about the whole thing. And then last year in West Virginia, we did amazing. It was by far the most inexperienced team that we had, with 5 of the ladies having less than 2 years experience, and 2 with 5, and then 1 with 16. And we finished 6th out of 22 teams overall. We were the 2nd in high angle rescue, 3rd in tech and theory, and 4th in firefighting, and 9th in the underground problems. So we were the only all-female team. In 2018, we were the first all-female team to ever compete internationally. In 2019, the first all-female team to ever compete nationally in Canada. So
Right on,
Wow.
Kari.
We see some applause coming from this virtual audience here. That's great. And by the way, feel free to interact in the chat if you would like to. Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
These are just wonderful accomplishments. So well done. Congrats to you and the team. And of course, it's not just about placing, it's also about the meaning and the significance of your presence in these events as an all-female team. You know, mine rescue teams represent the toughest and the most urgent aspects of mining. And you know, building award-winning teams out of just women is such a vivid and creative way to cut down stereotypes about women in mining. You know, there maybe are some who might have assumed we're not capable, we might not be able to handle the rough conditions, you know, oh, it's too dangerous for women, that kind of thing. And kudos to you for proving them wrong. And I can only imagine how rewarding it is for those participants getting to be part of something so unique and memorable. What are you hearing from the women in these teams about their mine rescue
We've
experience?
had great feedback. I wish I had the time to show you guys a video. We've got a great video that we made after 2019, and it compiles some of those thoughts from our competitors. I do have a few here though. One of our 2018 participants, Renee Campbell, she said, it was a confidence booster for me. It was a life-changing experience. Jamie Abels in 2019, seeing such strong examples of leaders really showed me what it took to be a leader. By them helping me, they gave me more confidence and then let me develop into a leader alongside them. And she joined the team very last minute, and we saw her confidence go from like maybe a 1 to a 20 on a scale of 10 in just less than 2 short weeks. So it was great to see. Now, Kirsten Hansen, she joined us last year, and she's also one of our ambassadors as well. And she said, Diamonds in the Rough changed my life. The program and those involved helped build my confidence. It also gave me the opportunity to see and feel the actual support from our colleagues, not only where we as individuals work, but worldwide. We actually, when we were in Russia, we had one guy actually say to us, and he's like, I'm going to go home and tell my daughters they can do anything, which is probably the best feedback we could ask for.
Just incredible. That's so great. And no doubt the mine leaders that lead these women who are having their confidence raised to this extent are thrilled as well with the impact that you're having. So I'm curious, what's next for the team? Given everything you've achieved so far, what's your next goal?
We've got a lot of goals.
I bet.
This coming year, we hope to participate in Colombia, the International Mines Rescue Competition in Colombia. And we hope to do a bunch of speaking engagements as well, to both industry and youth. We've done quite a few to youth within the school systems already, which has been fantastic. It's fun getting them to try on the equipment as well. We in 2025, we are going to Austria to do a presentation there. We've already been invited, which is great. In 2026, whoops, I've got to. In 2026, we hope to participate in the 2026 IMRC International Mines Rescue Competition in Zambia. And our goal as an organization is to have an all-female, all-Indigenous team from Canada. So we're a significantly underrepresented group in the industry, and we need to highlight these strong Indigenous women.
Wow. Just amazing. So we're going to be cheering you on from here, and we'll be following your journey carefully. We'll be with you all the way, Kari. And certainly there may be some of those in the audience who are interested in following your progress, learning more about the excellent work that you're doing, and maybe even interested in creating this experience for their employees as part of their DEI, belonging, and safety efforts. So how can mining companies in our audience learn more about what you do and potentially get involved to support your work?
Well, of course, there is the sponsorship. We are always looking for sponsorship partners within the mining companies. And there are other ways to support us as well. If you've got women who would like to join Diamonds in the Rough and have the experience of being trained in an all-female environment, which is something that you will rarely find in mine rescue. It's very male dominated and very much an old boys club. We're breaking that mold though. We are looking for participants all the time. Our wait list is getting pretty long, but That gives us more opportunity to perhaps put in 2 teams or run a couple different training camps during the year at least, which is awesome. We do have some lofty goals over the next 3 years. So like I said, we are looking for sponsors to help us achieve those goals. I believe are a few people participating today that we've already reached out to, and there are more here who we will definitely be reaching out to in the next couple of weeks. But if you want to be proactive, please use the information on the side of the screen or what we will provide you, and you get a hold of us. We've had a few sponsors in the past take the first initiative and approach us to sponsor us. And one of the other ways you can support us is just to follow us on social media, share our posts, and share our story.
Amazing. Thank you, Kari, so much. I'm sure everyone is really interested and inspired. This is a great way to kick off our session here today, hearing about all your success, and looking forward to hearing from you over the next few years, what you end up accomplishing from here. Thanks so much for being with us today on the Innovation Summit.
Yes. No problem.
Awesome. So Sandra, if we can grab a couple of those links and put them into the chat for folks who want to just bookmark them right now. We will also be sending out an information package to everyone who registered. So you'll be able to look up Kari and all of our other speakers to come to make sure that you can find them on the vast interwebs. So fantastic. Yay. Thank you, Kelly, for following. That's perfect. Sandra, I'll just have you stop the recording, please, because we're going to shift into the next chapter now. All right. Well, now we are officially opened up. We are kicked off in our Innovation Summit. This is the first time we've done a virtual showcase like this. We are really, really excited to answer the question, what is the one action that mining companies need to take to thrive in 2030 and beyond? So 2030 is coming up fairly soon. You could think of this as kind of a countdown or an extended New Year's Eve party. We're looking ahead to that time when, a lot of things are changing. And each of our speakers today is going to be answering that question of one single action that mining companies need to take from the perspective of their own expertise and their own area. So you're going to get a great array of different speakers and perspectives. And we're excited to kick off our morning program in a few minutes at 10:30 Eastern. We're going to be kicking off with whole person safety with Audrey. So before that, I am going to hand the microphone over to our co-founder, Heather Gamble, who started the Artemis project and really has the story of the Artemis project, and will provide a little bit of context into the why and the what of what we do and how it connects to this question of where we're going as a collective, as an industry within the Canadian mining space. So over to you, Heather, for that introduction.
Oh, thank you, Erica. And thank you to everybody. Everybody that's on this call is responsible and accountable and moving actions towards what I happen to believe is one of the single most important action for mining to take in 2030. Before I share that with you, and I'm sure it's going to be no surprise to most of you, however, I want to, just take us back in 2017 when we started working with several women-owned businesses in mining. And what we saw was this incredible pool of talent. And we know it's challenging to break barriers going into supply chains that are, do a lot of traditional sourcing, et cetera. So we just, I'm not from mining, but I knew every single one of these entrepreneurs were leading ambitious solutions, not just ambitious because they have a true desire to make a change in the industry. So how could we not put something together to say, let's come together as a collective. We'll work with mining companies that are open and welcoming and inviting to women-owned businesses in the supply chain. As most of us have heard, less than 1% of procurement is with women-owned businesses in the supply chain. So guess what? We got a huge opportunity. And being of entrepreneurial spirits, that's what we're about. That's what's infused in our blood, is to, when we see an opportunity, We put together whatever we need to put together, put a solution together, and go drive that opportunity. So that's how Artemis started. And it started because of the talent of these incredible women that you are going to hear from today, and others who unfortunately can't be with us today, but are certainly part of the Artemis Collective. And we've all come together. We came together in trust and saying, let's see what we can do together. So I can share with you from working with these incredible women that, you know, for all the mining companies that have sponsored Artemis, thank you so much. And not sponsoring is all about doing actions, practical actions that take us all forward, not simply sponsoring and putting logos in for a marketing. So we have done some amazing outcomes. We, the collective at Artemis, I see every single women-owned business. They are just growing in ways that their business is meeting the demands of the mining industry. And what I mean by that, again, with these entrepreneurial spirits, you'll hear from them today. Know that each and every single one of them you hear from, they do all kinds of stuff above and beyond what you're going to hear in a 10-minute clip. And that's, again, they're infused with entrepreneurism, meaning they are agile, they're so committed, they're passionate about what they do, and they collaborate. That's what entrepreneurs. Hey, if I don't have this all of the solution, I work with other members that can pull together the solution. So let me tell you, these women are on fire. I just feel certainly I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to work with them day in, day out, share successes, share the journeys, and really move it forward for all women-owned businesses in mining. So beyond that, what we've all learned and come to see is mining is stuck as it relates to participation of women. We forecasted this, we could see it coming, and it's here. And it is stuck at about 15%, where most other industries are showing participation of women at about 47%. So when Erica put together this innovation summit and said, what is the single most important thing we can do to advance towards 2030, and 2030 recognizing those are the ambitious UN SDG goals that most mining companies have ascribed to, made commitments around, and are driving towards, all of us. I believe, after I have worked with this incredible pool of women, mining's single most important point of progress in making and helping us reach 2030 in the way that we want to reach 2030 is increasing the number of women. And yes, definitely in the supply chain, but women who work for mining companies, women in all capacities, in technical capacities, in leadership capacities, on boards, etc. 15% does not give us a strong voice. It doesn't give anybody a strong voice. And often you're the only person in the room. And that is not the position of strength. And we know further that the business gains that businesses receive are incredible, at least a 20% improvement in performance, improvement in retention, improvement in ESG results, improvement in the end of the day, that financial gain that many people obviously invest and look for in mining. So what I feel the best way to de-risk mining, and we've all seen investment in mining go down as confidence in the market goes down, as risk increases, especially around social capital, the best way, the only way to de-risk this industry is to change that 15% to 50%. Recognizing that 15% has been the way it has been for the past 13 years, stayed pretty stable at 15%, we got a lot of work to do. And not just work, we have a huge opportunity. So I, on behalf of all the women in mining, on behalf of all the women in mining that can be attracted to the industry for the various reasons that you all talked about and that Kari talked about, It is an incredible industry. It's an industry that can be purposed for good, above and beyond profit. We know that, we ascribe to that, we align to that. We're all UNSDG focused around that. And now initiatives like Kari and many others that you will hear today are going to help you get that competitive gain, help this industry be competitive, and bring Canada, the Canadian mining scene, to a global leader as it relates to full-on equity, diversity, inclusivity, however you want to put those together. It is time for an all-inclusive, all-hands-on approach, and the women tend to lead that type of thinking and those types of behaviors. So the single most important thing that I think mining needs to do, and we're here to help every single way we can, you're going to hear it, is to accelerate that 15% to 50% by 2030. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather, for that rousing call to action. I love your passion and your dedication, speaking from the heart about the experience that you've had so far. And this isn't just, a goal on paper. This is actually something that changes people's lives and changes people's businesses, certainly. So I'm curious if, the folks on the call, if you're here, you're probably already committed, or at least thinking about your commitment to gender equity or gender parity in mining. You're thinking about this for your industry. If you're not thinking about this for your company already, today is the best time to start, because we have lots of solutions we're going to be presenting to you, lots of experts in their field that happen to be the leads of their own businesses that are women as well. And this is something that's so important to me as an engineer, as someone who has shown up in a predominantly male field. We know that it can weigh on us a little bit. This idea that, oh, you're an engineer, even just those small comments, or, oh, you own a business, like, we're cutting against a stereotype, and we're writing different stories about who can belong, who has the skills to contribute, who can lead, and who can make a difference and make a change. That's the other piece of this, that business as usual is not going to cut it anymore in many different ways across the board, and especially in mining. We have lots of imperatives to change, lots of burning platforms, as we might say. So this is a perfect storm, a great opportunity of all of these different things coming together to say there is no trade-off between gender diversity and quality, and the quality of the entrepreneurs and the solutions that we're about to present to you today. They speak for themselves. So I'm not going to heap any more glowing adjectives, but they are proven entrepreneurs with great track records and a history of supporting mining companies to wonderful results. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for listening to us share a bit of our excitement and our passion about the collective of wonderful entrepreneurs that is the Artemis Project. So you're going to hear from several of them today, and the first one is coming up. We're right on schedule. This is fantastic. Sandra, if I could just get you to stop the recording, and we'll start it again for Audrey.